Hi, good morning, good evening, depending on which part of the world you're joining in from. Welcome to this session on scaling data center operations. I'm Manoj Menon, CEO. Hi, good morning, good evening, depending on which part of the world you're joining in from. Welcome to this session on scaling data center operations. I'm Manoj Menon, CEO of Twimbit, and I'll be the moderator. And I'm joined by some very distinguished guests who will help us navigate through one of the biggest challenges or opportunities potentially for the next couple of decades, which is how do we scale data centers to meet with this incredible demand that is out there, driven largely by potentially AI and 5G and a number of other disruptive technologies that are all coming together to provide this opportunity. So before I start, allow me to quickly welcome our guests on this particular session. I'll start with Sanjay Bhutani, Chief Business Officer with Adani Connects. Welcome, Sanjay. Sanjay, you're joining here from India, from Mumbai, or which part of the country?
India, Mumbai. Right.
Excellent. Excellent. Welcome. And happy Diwali. I know, we are a few days post Diwali, but happy Diwali to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy Diwali to everyone.
Excellent. And we have Doug Lowy. Doug, welcome. Doug is the CEO with Cow Data Center. Welcome, Doug. Thanks for joining. Maybe a quick introduction. Where are you from, Doug? Which part of the world are you dialing in from today?
Well, despite this distinctly retained American accent, I actually live in London and have been here 30 years, but I joined KO Data at the beginning of this year.
Okay, wonderful. And so you are an American, so very exciting times. You're eagerly anticipating the next couple of days, as is the rest of the world. Okay, I will not ask your political affiliation, but yeah. Clement, I think I've known Clement for a few years. I think Clement is based in sunny Singapore, right? Clement, we don't have such excitement in our elections. It's not so closely fought.
Yes, it's always very predictable. That's right.
Yeah. So Clement, what is this new avatar, Doma Infrastructure Group? Can you tell a little bit?
Sure. Together with my partner Brandon Amber, we started this company called Doma Infrastructure Group. We started beginning of this year, and it is dedicated to data center land acquisition and development. So what we meant by that is that we acquire land across the region in Asia Pac, and we will help to fast track the permitting processes, application for power, getting utility to the site, water, basically just fast tracking all this activity for data center operators as well as hyperscalers. And where possible, we will develop larger plot of land to build data center campuses or data center park. And this will be able to serve the data center community, and we will either put it sign an agreement with the operator or the end user on a long-term lease, or even with a long-term lease with the option to purchase. So that's what we do. We just make sure that we stay at the PowerShell power core level, and then the operation will be left to our data center operator or the end user themselves.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Thanks, Clement. I'll come back to you, Clement, but maybe I should also get Doug to tell us a bit about Cow Data Center. Doug, you're based in London, and what business opportunity are you addressing based out of London?
KO Data's history, actually celebrating 10 years as of last month, has been focused on data centers engineered for AI. And so that is our heritage, our roots are in our area of expertise. For example, during the pandemic, we were able to help NVIDIA bring their Cambridge One supercomputer live in our data center in Harlow. But going forward, the community of customers that we're engaged with include both the cloud and the AI customers, and significant or strategic enterprises that also are on that AI or cloud journey. And so the board and our shareholders have approved a business plan that's having us expand into Spain as well as the Netherlands and Germany to replicate the success story we've had here in the UK. But it's all about AI, cloud, high density workloads, high performance compute. And as I often like to say, it's no longer cat videos in these data centers. These are supercomputers that are helping solve and model global warming, synthetic drug trials, being able to really look at ways to advance and solve cancer. So these are critical workloads that are really helping overall society move forward.
Oh, fabulous! Thank you. Exciting. Sanjay, you are in a market which has now the highest amount of data consumption in the world, as was revealed last, I think, couple of weeks ago at the NVIDIA forum. Can you tell us a bit about Adani Connects and the role you all are playing currently?
Adani is well known for a very, very large infrastructure, and EdgeConneX is known for a design, build, and operate side of it. So it's a perfect relationship to have, wherein one is to one. So everyone brings in 100%. It's not a 50-50. So commercially, we have 50-50 JV. Both are 100% committed to this business. As you know, India is a very growing market, and APAC and some other, if we have to compare with some other markets, India is currently about a gigawatt market. And there's a huge runway for us to cover the population. All of us know what kind of population we have. At the same time, cloud adoption is also growing at almost about 35 to 40% CAGR. So we created large infrastructure in the last 3 years. We are the newest kid on block, and we are solving problem for all the hyperscaler, what they need in terms of energy security, in terms of safety, project delivery on time, and of making sure the large campuses are available. And all these things are well needed for a country like India. And government is very supportive in terms of coming out for a policy which is very conducive. It helps India to, by and large, to grow. And India is blessed to have a lot of green energy available, which is key to a data center. And the Adani Group especially has got a massive green energy portfolio and vertically integrated for everything what energy takes. That's a very unique position we are, and we are seeing a very positive response from a hyperscaler, and Adani Connects, and especially myself is blessed to be living in an era where in computer, then phone, then supercomputer coming in, as Doug said, and exciting time for us. And of course, AI is coming in. That'll bring in a lot of new challenges, which is cooling, and cooling is a big unknown for us when we design, and of course, how do we operate and make sure we are efficient? So excited about the journey, travel, and exciting time ahead.
I think all of you have alluded in some way, in a big way, to the opportunity, which is huge. At the same time, we briefly touched upon the challenges that you're facing. You talked about cooling. Maybe an open question. Maybe we should start with, so what are the biggest challenges? If you were to say, hey, here are the top 3. Is cooling number 1? Is it land acquisition number 1? Is it all of the above? What is it? Where do you start? Okay, Sanjay, go ahead. Yeah.
So energy security, in my view, is the biggest challenge. If you look at it, the data center market globally, I'll just move from India. 54 gigawatt was in 2023, and the prediction is that we are going to touch about 90 gigawatt in 2028. And India is about nearly 2% of data center capacity. And with a fair market share and the growth, what we are seeing in current years and the future, we are going to touch about 15 to 16 gigawatt by 2030. India, when I say us. So there is a huge, and India is leapfrogging big time in data center, and of course, sustainable data center. Renewable energy security is the biggest challenge, what people see as a data center. And for us, this is the biggest opportunity what we have. And the crucial challenge for the industry is transformative model which can take full stack energy control, guaranteeing energy security, de-risking data centers development in India, shifting energy procurement burden to a strategic advantage. I think that is another key element which we see is a very important part. Delivering predictive energy cost and 100% sustainable solution. And all of this is possible once you have a vertical integration, no dependency on other country, which helps India to make sure we are dependent ourselves. We are self-dependent. So all of this combination, of course, regulatory compliance also plays a key role, which helps us to make sure all what we do is in an era of complying all the processes, governance side of it. The second big challenge, what I see, is a talent shortage. India is the third largest country in terms of having an ecosystem, which is super technical talent and a vibrant startup system, what we have in the country. Our mission is to enable all the entrepreneurs and innovators to build full stack of technology in India and for the rest of the world. What we started in Adani Connects is a very unique program called Global Training Program. More than 50% of our people got trained abroad. When I say abroad, some got trained in Amsterdam, some got trained in Dublin, some got trained in other countries. Those guys are getting a global exposure when they join us, and these guys are able to see how the design, build, and operate part takes place. That's very, very impressive. When you come back to India, if you're able to adopt some part of it, we are able to see a massive change from a safety side of it, project side of it, and of course, implementation side of it. And all of this happening while security, safety, and a project side is happening, sustainability is a key. While we are doing everything, how do we bring in sustainability in this? While we are hiring people, clearly we hire people, 40% people from 40, 30, 30 is a mantra for us, 40% people from existing industry, 30% people from our relativity of industry, and 30% freshers. Those guys are coming and getting us so many bright ideas, which are helping us to make sure we are agile, and we are getting a lot of things from our leaders, and we are creating leaders for tomorrow. There's no fighting between small pool of people, and we are exchanging every now and then. Last not the least, I think clearly master planning is very important. The future of India is all of us know AI is a massive in India, going to be massive in India. How do we make sure all these platforms are future ready? And unique master planning, when we do the site strategy, energy infrastructure, network planning, sustainability, data center solutioning, and operational strategy. All of this combined together in a package helps hyperscaler to believe in the strategy, what India can bring in for large hyperscaler.
Excellent. Okay, thank you, Sanjay. Sanjay has covered the gamut of things for all of us.
That's
So
right.
maybe let me ask Clement, are
Yeah,
these
sure.
the top three?
Is
There any
it's
other
very
thing you want
similar.
to put in the
Yeah,
mix?
what I'm hearing from Sanjay, that the challenges that he's solving in India is very similar across the region, but obviously in a different scale. You know me from before. I've been running data center business for the last 20 years, and finally saw an opportunity to address the issue for the hyperscalers and operator when it comes to, I mean, before even a data center can be built, when they look at new market entry, how do you navigate and acquire the land? And some countries around the region, they have foreign ownership restriction, for example. When it comes to application of power, there's various agencies and there's all this complexity. All they want is to be able to focus on a core business. So what we solve for is really land acquisition, power acquisition, getting the permits, getting the development application submitted for them, and so that they can fast track the construction of the data center. And this is becoming more and more critical. In the past, data centers are built in tier 1 cities, which have very clear policies and rules. But now, as the region expands, because of AI going to location where you have cheaper power, those places are not as sophisticated to welcome infrastructure investors. So the education has to be done. We have to work with local authorities. We have to make sure that they understand. We have to find local partners that can help us solve for those problems that Adani is solving for their customer in India. But now, if you look at it, Southeast Asia is made up of 10 different countries, and they all have different unique value proposition, unique issues and challenges. And then, of course, you have North Asia, where there are places where there is not enough power, new infrastructure has to be built. So we then have to work with infrastructure provider to make sure that we can continue to serve the market. So very similar issues, just different, I would say, different flavor. As for human resources, again, in emerging market, you don't have talent. You have to import talent. You have to train them. You have to bring talent in and hire new pool of people to train them, and then hopefully, after a few years, they can take over. And we see that across the Southeast Asia region. And so, yeah, very similar but different scale.
Excellent, great. Doug, do you see them differently in the regions you operate?
Well, the melody line of Sanjay and Clement's comments is it's all about power. Yes, of course, you had to balance it out with having the right planning, and of course, let's not forget connectivity, because a data center that's not connected is not a data center; it's useless. But without a doubt, the most fundamental bottlenecks right now is access to large quantities of renewable power sources. And so, for example, just to give a couple anecdotes, Amsterdam's a bottleneck. Dublin has become almost an impossibility unless there's very creative power solutions. And even West London has now become quite waterlogged in terms of just the ability to have timely availability to power at scale. And so, although that is a challenge, it also presents an opportunity to the data center providers, and that is, for example, we're working very closely with the local community in Manchester to be welcomed with open arms. A lot of times when data center providers in the past would go to a community, there was often pitchforks in the street not welcoming the folks, because there was a perception that data centers were a bad thing. But since we're solving for cancel, we're solving for global warming, data centers are a force for good. But we're moving those workloads from pinch point locations with low amounts of power or challenges in terms of planning to places like Manchester, where we're welcomed with open arms. East London is having a nice revitalization, is recognizing it's a great place to put data centers of scale, especially for both the AI and the cloud workloads. And there's even a renewed interest in Amsterdam. They were very much against data centers for a while, especially when it was just a bunch of cloud workloads. But now that AI is coming in, of course, the Dutch are a progressive, proud nation, and they want to be participatory in those type of technologies as well. So it's about distributed power and also having those relationships with the communities. So you're welcomed with open arms as we build data centers at scale.
Excellent. Thanks, Doug. Sanjay alluded briefly, and I thought he mentioned 40-30-30. I thought that is a great approach to bring in, harness the best that the industry has, but at the same time bring in talent from outside. What are some of the other ways in which you're building? Is there any other opportunity to address this talent shortage? Are there, I look at my kids are coming out of college and they're complaining about lack of jobs. And here you're saying you're looking for people. So, are we not training enough people in the universities to create this? Are you hiring enough fresh graduates and training them? What are the things that you're doing to address this big challenge? Anybody can go first.
Happy to echo some of the comments that Sanjay made. Without a doubt, this industry is growing at such a pace that it really is. We have to be very careful that it's just a bunch of old white guys that are part of the labor force. And so we have initiated outreach programs and close relationships with a variety of universities to demonstrate to young talent, female and male engineering talent alike, that data centers are a great place to be able to accelerate their career. Great learning opportunities because it's at the heart of AI. Although it sounds slightly contradictory, what has often happened, though, is there's been some folks in our industry that have retired, realize that they've stacked up the garage and swept it out, and then they realize they still have an awful lot to bring. So we've initiated a program of part-time folks coming back and being able to fill in here and there. And that's giving a great mentoring capability for talented senior individuals that have a great understanding of technology, mentoring the youth of today and tomorrow, and making it an exciting magnet to be part of the data center industry versus other industries that often get a little bit more pizzazz. But what we're doing now in the AI and cloud space is fun again.
Yeah, we got to make it exciting to the students. They don't see data centers as a place to start their careers. Sanjay, are you hiring fresh graduates?
We are hiring 30% from colleges. 30% of your population, what you have, you are basically, you're not fighting among each other. You are creating, not only that, I tell you a very unique model what we created as you were touching, people do not have job, or people at times don't get to know what strength data center brings in terms of having right jobs. We have created a couple of test beds in colleges wherein people get to see 100 kilowatt, 200 kilowatt of data centers in universities wherein actually people go and see what data center does to our lives. So while people go and see what data center can do to our lives and how important data centers are, and technological intervention and help, what they can use while they come out of the colleges. So those things are helping us to attract right talent. Of course, there are, like India, if you look at the kind of population what we have, I think majority of the electrician, mechanical, and some other industry people go out to work in Singapore or maybe some other countries. We are working a special program to make sure people come back to India and earn as much what they were earning in Singapore or some other country, so that they are able to save or send the same similar dollar what they were sending to their home while they were out. So we are working on a multiple, so there is no quick fix for this. Of course, we keep exploring and we keep changing our ideas and keep shifting our strategy, because this has to be fluid.
Yeah. Clement and I are relocating to India.
But you know what? The irony is, people who are in the industry will always have a job, because there's always demand for data center expertise. Now, I think the bigger challenge for people, businesses in this industry, is how to keep those talent within your organization. There's a lot of competing organization that are hiring this talent away from you. You always see that there are new data center platform being created every other day, new data center being built everywhere around the world. So there's always need for such talent. It's just that we are not growing the new blood fast enough compared to the number of new platform that's being created. I think that's the challenge. And obviously, you're also competing with the hyperscalers themselves, who are now, self-serving. They are also trying to build their own data centers. They are also trying to build their own operational team in location where they can acquire land. So that's where you when you start competing with those folks, and in terms of career perspective, you need to be able to paint a vision to all your employees that you have a bright future staying with you. So that's where we had to grapple with.
Yeah, I think we definitely, I'm not as actively invested in this data center space, and as somebody who operates on the periphery, working mostly with telcos and other enterprise customers, I must admit or say that, from the outside, data center doesn't look exciting to the next young talent that is out there. So we have some work to do. Let's move to the next topic, which is about harnessing. We talked about AI being a great source of demand, driving demand. How are you using it to improve performance? Is that how, are you using AI first? Is it like, are you AI native in design now, in the way you're building it? So how do you see that evolving? Or are you even reimagining, your data centers completely in the context of AI and other technologies? Maybe Sanjay, we didn't let you talk for a while, after that initial.
Sure. So as you rightly touched upon a design part of it, clearly the data center are getting into a modular, where an AI data center will have air cooled and a liquid as well. So flexible designs are the key for the success, and people have started building those designs. And happy to share, we have already deployed 2 large data center of 50 megawatt each in India, and many more are going to come. The next is, of course, energy efficiency. And when I spoke about having a green power, this is related to power utilization efficiency. All of us understand, how do we get best in class PUE? While liquid is coming, all of us know that PUE is going to improve a lot. At the same time, how do we make sure the talent what we use need to do more with the less, leveraging on technologies? So that can benefit smarter people working with us. Similar function comes for sustainability, like sustainability in a value chain, and beyond carbon, and thinking more holistically when it is how do I make sure while using the water, how do I give back water to society? So likewise, construction, while doing a construction, how do I make sure modern construction takes place there? I tell you one or two good examples. AI powered safety monitoring tool, what we use in India with the Dani and EdgeConnects, is a very unique tool, and most of the hyperscalers took back to US and they are using it. It is a very future-proof AI system. Of course, we have to be on our toes from a safety perspective. We can't say we achieved this much. Of course, if safety is a journey, all of us. So that is helping us to reduce our on-site safety violations and enhancing worker awareness. Second is VR for a training and capability building is very important. Virtual reality training programs. It is, while people see it, what are the high-risk items and activities happening, lockout, tag out, material handling, hot work, excavation safety, all of this through a virtual training, these guys are able to see it. Likewise, augmentation reality in a BIM 3D and 4D, which people are able to see in a real term. How do they make sure the sequencing is happening, the predictability of a construction is happening at the right time. Last not the least, there is an Edge OS, there's a patent to EdgeConnects, which is a software which helps you to make sure all the monitoring and the predictability and alarms are monitored, video surveillance is happening at a right time, and giving you a lot of predictability through an AI system, and unplanned downtimes are reduced. So lot happening. Of course, cooling optimization is another tool, which is AI-based cooling technology tool we have implemented in India, which is helping significantly to have a lot of efficiency. Of course, human intervention has to be as low as possible in these cases.
Doug?
Yeah, building on that, this is an example where the data center industry, has really worked hard to improve its reputation. Instead of wasting water, using water by having closed water loops. We have a finite amount of water. We're just using it in a very repetitive, efficient manner. And so we have a responsibility in the industry to be able to get that word out that we're actually stewards of resources, conserving power, using it efficiently, at the same time, using these applications that are helping solve society's problems at large. I think it's helped with KO Data having the NVIDIA supercomputer. We almost have our own lab by working with one of the most renowned names in the AI space in our data center. But being able to have that platform, the learning from that, allowing us to be able to not only replicate and help supercomputers in different locations, but this whole essence of being able to scale the business. It's now gone from, you could have a 10 or a 20 megawatt data center and that would be sufficient. Our customers are requiring us to utilize the AI technology and to be able to have a line of sight to at least 100 megawatts. Now, of course, if you distribute that power in Europe, it's much more helpful for the local community, so you're not taxing a single location. In the US, yes, you can do 300, 400, even 500 megawatt campuses, but in Europe, it does need to be distributed. So it's a blend between scaling, but also having those good community relationships, going in early into any community, demonstrating the value of data centers to society and bringing them along the journey so you're welcomed versus not.
Okay, great. Maybe the last question, we're almost running out of time, maybe a quick one, and maybe Clement, given how you have organized yourself to solve this challenge associated with, build out of the data centers, and how are the partnerships or government institutions and other institutions coming together, and do you see some models coming up? How do you see what opportunities exist to improve collaboration there?
In fact, yeah, I see that as a very key point to success. Across the region, as we start to look at building up data center campuses, we have to work with the local government, the local partners as well. One is to educate them. The other is I'm starting to do a lot more advisory work for the government around the region. They want to understand the impact of data center to the economy, and also job creation. And a lot of and how would that affect community, like what Doug mentioned earlier. So this, there is this misconception that data center is evil. But I think with some of the country seeing economic growth because of data centers, some of our emerging market are starting to trying to understand a little bit more from people like ourselves, and also to invest more in the infrastructure to support the data center industry. It really brings up the level of sophistication in terms of the IT knowledge in those countries. It actually creates jobs for the construction industry. So I am doing some work with the Thai and the Malaysian government, as well as the local conglomerate and partners on addressing some of these issues and questions that they might have. So it is very key. And I think they are starting to open up. As you can see, there's a lot more growth in the region in the last, I would say, 12 months.
Excellent. I think we are out of time, but it has been a fascinating conversation. Hopefully, we'll be invited back to continue this session. Now, I've learned a lot, starting from the biggest challenges, also the biggest opportunity. And how we, if you ask me the key takeaways, the energy security is the biggest challenge and also the biggest opportunity that is there. We do need to communicate the exciting opportunity to work in data centers. I didn't realize how much opportunity and jobs potentially are out there, and maybe that message needs to go out. And I think the work that you guys are doing needs to be shared more effectively. And so, if hearing the numbers that Sanjay has been talking about, going from about 1 gigawatt to 15 gigawatt, 16 gigawatt in the span of next 5-6 years, and if that is going to be replicated in every other country in this region, oh my goodness, we have so much work to do to make all of this possible. So thank you very much for sharing that, and with that, wish you a great rest of the year. And Doug, all the best for the election results in the coming days.
Thank you, gentlemen. A real pleasure.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Behind every world-changing idea and life-changing dream, there is a wealth of data that shapes its evolution into reality. Data is at the root of understanding your world. All this data needs to be nurtured and nourished in a trusted data center ecosystem that is safe, secure, and sustainable for both you and the planet, and that leverages big data and advanced learning model to automate operations and help your business grow without boundaries while being at your fingertips. Building on the global experience of 50-plus hyperscale and hyperlocal data centers, Adani Connex is now set to transform India into a global digital hub with an integrated 1 gigawatt sustainable data center platform powered with up to 100% renewable energy and coupled with a robust network of submarine and terrestrial cables, committed to deliver 99.999% availability year after year, enabling you to scale with confidence. At Adani Connex, your growth is our priority.